Okay, be honest, how many of you have tried to learn English by binge-watching Friends or The Office on Netflix?
Oh, guilty.
Right? Everyone says it, just watch TV shows in English and you'll become fluent. But here's the truth, I spent months learning from TV, and when I finally talked to real native speakers, it was nothing like what I heard on Netflix.
So different.
Exactly. So today, we're talking about Netflix English versus Real English. Because spoiler alert, they're not the same thing.
Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to TalkFluent. I'm Clara.
And I'm James.
So before we dive in, I have to share my Netflix learning story. When I first started learning English seriously, everyone told me, watch American shows. You'll pick up the language naturally.
Classic advice.
Right. So I decided to watch Friends, all 10 seasons. And I was so committed. I'd watch episodes over and over thinking, okay, this is how people actually talk.
What happened?
Well, I went to a coffee shop one day and tried to order using the kind of English I heard on Friends. I was trying to be all casual and funny, you know? And the barista just looked at me like I was crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah, because TV English is so scripted. It's written to be entertaining, not realistic. And I learned that the hard way.
Exactly. And that's the problem, a lot of people think TV shows are a perfect reflection of real English. But the truth is, they're not. TV language is designed for entertainment, clarity, and drama. Real conversation? Not so much.
So today we're breaking down the biggest differences between Netflix English and real English.
And we'll also talk about how you can actually use TV to learn, because it's not a bad tool. You just need to know what's realistic and what's not.
All right, let's jump in.
Okay, so let's start with the biggest myth, the idea that everyone on TV speaks perfect, clear English.
Right. Like every word is perfectly pronounced and easy to understand.
Exactly. But here's the truth, on TV, actors are trained to enunciate. They speak clearly because they're being recorded, and the audience needs to understand them. In real life, people mumble. They slur words together. They drop sounds.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I remember the first time I heard someone say, "Wanna go?" instead of, "Do you wanna go?" I was so confused.
Right. Because on TV, even when characters are being casual, they still pronounce most of their words. But in real conversation, native speakers cut corners all the time.
Like gonna instead of going to.
Exactly. Or lemme instead of let me. Or dunno instead of I don't know. These contractions are everywhere in real English, but on TV, they're used way less, or when they are used, they're still pretty clear.
So TV English is cleaner than real English.
Much cleaner. And here's another thing, on TV, there's usually no background noise. You hear every word clearly. But in real life? You're at a restaurant, there's music playing, people are talking, dishes are clanking, and you have to piece together what someone's saying.
That's so true. I've been in situations where I could barely hear the person across from me.
Right. And that's a huge difference. TV doesn't prepare you for noisy environments. It doesn't prepare you for accents, mumbling, or people talking really fast without pausing.
Okay, so what about grammar? Because on TV, people seem to use pretty good grammar most of the time.
Good question. So here's the thing, on TV, the dialogue is written by professional writers. They make sure the grammar is mostly correct, even when characters are supposed to sound casual. But in real life, people make mistakes all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah. Native speakers mess up grammar constantly. They say things like, me and him went to the store, instead of he and I went to the store. They say I seen it instead of I saw it. They mix up who and whom.
Wait, so even native speakers make grammar mistakes?
All the time. But you'd never hear that on a show like Friends or The Office because the writers clean it up. So if you're learning English from TV, you might think everyone speaks with perfect grammar. But that's not reality.
That's actually kind of comforting to know.
Right? It takes the pressure off. You don't have to be perfect, because even native speakers aren't perfect.
Okay, but what about the way people talk on TV? Like, the conversations always seem so smooth. Everyone knows exactly what to say.
Yes. That's because it's scripted. In real life, conversations are messy. People interrupt each other. They lose their train of thought. They say and a lot. They pause to think.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
But on TV, even when characters are supposed to sound natural, the dialogue is still polished. There are no awkward pauses. No one says 50 times. Everything flows perfectly.
So TV makes conversation look easier than it actually is.
Exactly. And that can be frustrating for learners because they watch TV and think, wow, these people are so quick and witty. Why can't I think of responses that fast? But the reality is, no one talks like that in real life. We all stumble over our words sometimes.
Okay, here's something I've always wondered. Why do TV characters always seem to understand each other perfectly? Like, no one ever says, wait, what did you say?
Great observation. Because on TV, misunderstandings only happen when it's part of the plot, like a comedic mix-up or a dramatic twist. But in real conversation, people mishear each other all the time.
Oh, constantly.
Right. You say something, they didn't catch it, they ask you to repeat it. Or they thought you said one thing, but you actually said something else. That happens in real English every single day.
But on TV, everyone just gets it the first time.
Exactly. Because if characters were constantly saying wait, what, or can you repeat that, the show would drag. So TV skips over all those little clarifications that happen in real conversation.
That makes so much sense. Okay, what about slang? Because TV shows use a lot of slang, right?
They do, but here's the catch, TV slang is often outdated by the time you watch it. Shows are filmed months or even years before they air. So the slang that was cool when they filmed it might not be cool anymore.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and here's another thing: TV tends to use slang that's broadly understood. They avoid super regional or niche slang because they want a wide audience to get it. But in real life, slang varies by region, age group, social circle. It's way more diverse than what you see on TV.
So if you learn slang from a show, it might not even be relevant anymore?
Exactly. Or it might be specific to one group of people, and if you use it in the wrong context, it sounds weird.
That's good to know. Okay, so here's my question. If Netflix English is so different from real English, should people even bother watching TV to learn?
Great question. And the answer is yes, but you have to be smart about it.
How?
First, don't expect TV to be your only learning tool. It's great for listening practice, for picking up common phrases, for getting a feel for rhythm and intonation. But it's not enough on its own.
So it's more like a supplement?
Exactly. It's a supplement, not a substitute for real conversation. You need to combine TV with other methods: talking to real people, listening to podcasts, reading, practicing speaking.
That makes sense. What else?
Second, choose the right shows. Not all TV is created equal. If you want something closer to real English, watch reality shows, talk shows, or interviews. Those are less scripted and more natural.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, something like a late-night talk show or a documentary is going to sound way more realistic than a sitcom or a drama.
What about using subtitles?
Good question. Subtitles are helpful, but here's the thing: use English subtitles, not subtitles in your native language.
Why?
Because if you use subtitles in your native language, you're just reading translations. You're not actually processing the English. But if you use English subtitles, you're connecting the sounds to the words, and that helps you learn.
That makes sense. Anything else?
Yeah, don't just passively watch. Actively engage with it. Pause the show when you hear a phrase you don't understand. Look it up. Repeat it out loud. Try using it in a sentence.
So it's about being intentional with your watching.
Exactly. If you're just sitting there mindlessly binge watching, you're not going to learn much. But if you're paying attention, taking notes, practicing, then TV can actually be a really useful tool.
I love that. Okay, so what about accents? 'Cause TV shows usually have American or British accents, but there are so many other accents out there.
Yes. And that's another limitation of TV. Most popular shows feature pretty neutral, standard accents. But in real life, you're going to encounter all kinds of accents: regional accents, international accents, accents from people who learned English as a second language.
And TV doesn't prepare you for that.
Not really. So if you only watch TV, you might struggle when you meet someone with a strong Scottish accent, or an Indian accent, or a Southern American accent.
So, what should people do?
Expose yourself to different accents. Watch content from different English-speaking countries. Listen to podcasts with hosts from different regions. Talk to people from different backgrounds. The more variety you hear, the better.
That's really good advice. Okay, last thing. What about the speed of conversation on TV?
Oh, great point. So TV dialogue is usually paced for the audience. It's fast enough to feel natural, but slow enough that you can follow it. In real life, people talk fast. Really fast. And they don't pause between sentences the way actors do.
Yeah, I've noticed that. When I talk to native speakers, they just go. No breaks.
Exactly. And that's something TV doesn't prepare you for. So again, you need real-world practice. You need to get used to the speed and flow of actual conversation, not just scripted dialogue.
Okay, so the takeaway is TV can help, but it's not the full picture.
Exactly. Use it as one tool in your toolbox, but don't rely on it exclusively. Alright, let's recap. Netflix English versus real English, what are the big differences?
TV English is cleaner, more polished, and easier to understand.
Right. Actors enunciate clearly, there's no background noise, and the dialogue is scripted to be smooth and grammatically correct most of the time.
But real English is messy.
Exactly. People mumble, they make grammar mistakes, they use contractions like gonna and wanna, and they mishear each other all the time.
So TV makes English look easier than it actually is.
Right. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't watch TV to learn. Just be smart about it.
Choose realistic shows, use English subtitles, and actively engage with what you're watching.
Exactly. And most importantly, combine TV with real conversation. Because at the end of the day, the best way to learn English is by actually speaking it.
All right, that's it for today. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Now we want to hear from you. Have you tried learning English from TV? What show did you watch? And did it actually help?
Let us know in the comments.
And if this episode helped you understand the difference between Netflix English and real English, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before we go, we have some news. This is actually Clara's last episode with TalkFluent.
Yeah, it's been an amazing time. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Clara. And next video, we'll be introducing a new co-host. Stay tuned for that.
Keep talking fluent, everyone.
Thanks for being here. See you next video. Take care.